My name is Andrew Groh, and today we have Kristin Curcuru, Senior Account Manager with Becker Professional Education. Kristin, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.
Let's move to a second and talk a little bit about profession pipeline and then maybe some futures. Every 2 years, the AICPA publishes a trends in supply and demand of the accounting profession. I know you guys are well aware of that. Take a deep look at that. We do too. A lot of other groups do also. The last publication was last fall, 2019. And what were some of the key takeaways from that you guys saw and took a look and either said, that's great, this is fantastic, there are some challenges here and opportunities, or we need to make some major adjustments? What were some of the conversations that you all had at Becker coming out of that trends report?
Yeah, so one of the most alarming things is, so while the Bachelor's of Science in Accounting was one of the second largest major business programs, the master's level has decreased. So then the enrollments in students enrolling in the master's programs has decreased quite a bit, PhD a lot. And master's is primarily more, focused on Becker because a lot of them are looking to sit for the CPA exam at that point. That's kind of their goal. And so we had a lot of discussions and just we've heard a lot of students that are getting done with the bachelor's or getting done with the undergraduate and looking to work for a while, which, as you know as well as I do, that's hard to hear because that the likelihood of them coming back, finishing a master's degree, then taking the CPA exam, all while working full-time is going to be challenging. Not impossible, but certainly more challenging. So that is something that we've had to really take a look at, and I know, when it comes to the requirements to be able to sit for the CPA exam and just making sure that we're intriguing them early on as possible, so.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. And we talk a lot about kind of some hard factors and some soft factors, both nationally and also right here in Missouri. We have a lot of data-centric conversations about professional pipeline issues and wins and challenges. A couple things as we know, in a great economy like we have right now, the accounting profession tends to see a decrease in accounting school students because the profession is very stable and has been for ever 100 plus years. What happens when the economy eventually, we're assuming, will turn the other direction? Would you expect to see that the accounting school numbers and master's degree numbers begin to tick back up again? I
think so. I mean, and they kind of referenced the Great Recession of 2008, and there was a big increase in the accounting student enrollments, and so I think a similar thing will happen as well.
Yeah, we think so too. A couple of the things, one thing that came out of meetings with the AICPA, and I know that Becker was involved in those, we've heard that starting salaries for accountants and then CPAs moving forward have remained fairly static over the last maybe 30 years or so, and I may get the number wrong, but for quite a while. What are you all hearing from your candidates, from even potential candidates, and also on the other side, firms about kind of starting salary and competitive pay there?
Yeah, so that's obviously a concern. So we've seen a big shift into majors like finance in particular, just because of the salary. There's that concern of focusing on that much education, right? So spending that much time in school, that extra year, maybe 2 years, spending that extra money, as well as then studying and paying for a CPA license, right? So, that's obviously a concern. Now, what I will say about the accounting profession, maybe there needs to be some changes when it comes to starting salaries, but also if you look long term, it's different, it changes, so while there might be a higher starting salary for someone in finance, when you look at long term and the earnings for a CPA, it's quite a bit.
It has. So
So.
We've been in this profession for many, many years. We've heard the CPA being called the $1 million credential.
Mm-hmm.
Over the course of your career, CPAs are likely to earn on average $1 million more than if you're not a CPA in the same profession. Are we still using kind of that conversation, especially with students on the front end? I'd like to hear from you, and we're talking a little bit differently now, but how are you guys kind of talking with students about that long-term potential?
Yeah, and that's a tough one, just because we haven't used that. It's kind of really an outdated statistic, and so we've kind of tried to spend some time fishing on something new that we can kind of present to these students.
So what are you guys looking at?
To be determined.
Okay.
I
That's
wish I
fair.
had an answer for you. And it is something that I had asked about not too long ago, actually, but I know it's something that our team is really working on and trying to identify what is it, what's going to really stand out, what are those statistics that we need to really push for, so to build excitement on the CPA profession.
Yeah, and I know we've talked about this before. And I don't know if it's something that's carried over through to other profession partners and through other areas of the kind of the accounting ecosystem. But we like to say your CPA is your career passport. So
Mm-hmm.
think about a geographic passport. We're here in St. Louis, Missouri, or somewhere else in the States. We want to go overseas. You get a passport, and that allows you so much access to travel and opportunity. We believe that the CPA is equivalent to a career passport.
Yeah.
And that seems to resonate pretty well, especially with younger professionals and students. I wish we had some hard data to share that these were the actual students that said, yes, this is the reason why. We don't, but we like the way that it's going. So.
Yeah. And I would say we kind of have taken a similar approach. I think that's something that I really talk about a lot in my presentations, and when I'm talking to especially some of those undergraduate students, those that haven't quite reached that point of whether they're going to sit for the CPA exam or not. And so really just letting them know what the opportunity is, and just like you said, it's not just public accounting, it's not just tax or audit. There's a lot of other areas to go with that, and essentially you can find your passion and what you like to do. There's an accountant for, I always say every one of those big companies that you are dying to work for needs an accountant.
Accountant, yeah.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of MOCPA Bar Talk. If you have any questions or would like to chat a little bit more about the issues that we discussed, just let me know. My contact information is below.